You're looking to do endless customers. You're excited to become that most known and trusted brand, but you're saying to yourself, okay, how do I prevent the most common mistakes? And yes, even though the system is written there for you in the book, there are quite a few mistakes that I see people making. They'll come to me and they'll say, Marcus, we're doing endless customers. And I'll look and I'll say, wait a second, that's not what I said we should do. First most common mistake, having the wrong priorities with your content calendar and your content production in general. For example, let's say you were my client. There's a 90+% chance that I would say to you, we're gonna start with cost content. We're gonna make sure that you're creating a perfect pricing video along with that page to put on that page. We're gonna make sure if you can have a pricing estimator, you get that pricing estimator. And we're gonna do all these things. We're gonna do them pretty quickly because they are gonna produce quick, powerful, long-lasting results. Guess what happens oftentimes when people don't have that guidance? They say,
that looks challenging. That looks a little bit hard. I don't think we're gonna talk about that.
And then they don't do it. And because they don't do it, now they don't get the fruit of the labor. There are specific types of content and specific tools that we know are gonna have a powerful impact immediately. And what you don't wanna do is you don't wanna say,
geez, they look a little bit scary. Let me delay those for later.
And that is the most common mistake that we see, and it's not even close. The second most common mistake we see when it comes to endless customers is not having the right people in place. But what we consistently see is people will say,
well, I think I could probably outsource that writer person. Let me bring someone on for about 10 hours a week.
Guess how that works out? There's a learning curve with this. There's a training component to this. So if you start training someone that is not an employee, first of all, they're much more likely to resist. They're probably not going to be with you for a long time. You potentially wasted that training. It doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. But we see this happen. I would say like at least 9 out of 10 times it fails. Number 3 is not understanding how to do self-service the right way and how to utilize the power of self-service. Now, this is the key to your organization, getting first-party data. These days, when buying guides and the traditional things that we used to do in the 2010s no longer work to get that lead, to get their information, we need to give more to get more. And the way to do that is through self-service tools, those interactive tools on your website that can produce incredible fruit and conversions and have a major impact on your sales and marketing. We see a lot of companies, they put self-service off. They're not as aggressive with it as they should be. So that could be a pricing estimator because it seems so intimidating, whereas the majority of companies should absolutely have a pricing estimator on their website. This is the mistake that we consistently see over and over again. So make sure that you prevent that one. Now, of course, what has always been a challenge is getting the sales team to buy in to all things endless customers, especially when it comes to doing things like one-to-one video or assignment selling. Generally, we see companies fail to have success with this unless they bring in someone like from an Impact to train their team on these specific skills. We'll have situations where I'll be talking to a company and they say, yeah, we're on the journey. And then I say, okay, how often is your sales team sending out one-to-one video?
Well, we haven't really gotten to that part yet.
Okay, how often are they integrating assignment selling into the mix?
Yeah, we still need to work on that.
I'm like, you're producing all this content on the marketing side, so you're winning there, but you're completely losing on the sales side. And I would say the 5th common mistake, they just don't start it the right way. And what I mean by that is the best way to start is through what we call an alignment day. And this is when you bring someone from the outside in to speak to your entire team and make sure that everyone understands the what, the how, the who, the why and the when of endless customers. They understand their individual role, and they understand what the company is meant to do and what their effect is on this entire movement, this culture of endless customers that we're trying to create. Ultimately, we have to have alignment day, and ideally we should have that every 6 months, because we need to make sure we remove resistance before it becomes a problem. Because the last thing you want is a sales manager a month in saying,
This is silly. I don't know why we're doing this.
and that happens unless you start with the foundational elements of why. Hopefully this helps you understand the most common mistakes of endless customers implementation. Now that you know them, hopefully you'll prevent them so that you can have optimal endless customers success.